Nairobi to the world. This is Look Up Radio.
Oh yeah, kwani ni jambo lipi asilo liweza Mungu. And I tell you, it's indeed another beautiful evening to just be able to remember his goodness and just be able to trust him for who he said he was. You know, the good thing about God is that you don't need to bring your ideas about who you think he is. He's already overstated what he's capable of. And so when Sarah Carey just gets to say here that kwani ni jambo lipi hilo, I mean, we can fully bank on him as God. Welcome to another beautiful evening right here on Look Up Radio KE Drive 254, and it's indeed a great honor to just be your captain for the night. Indeed, this is Captain Cargo, and you are listening to Look Up Radio KE, and this show is called Drive 254. My goodness, I mean, and yes, we are in for quite a we're in for quite a show tonight. Let me just begin by saluting at least everybody that I can be able to see. Ashafika, all right, and I truly value you tonight. Patricia Mwende, I just see you all. Umefurahi kabisa na kuona Patricia Mwende. Welcome. I kindly request you, please also tell me unasikiza kutoka wapi, and yes, especially Patricia Mwende. At least I've really tried to master where people normally tune in from. Anmil, for example, and you never disappoint, always saying I'm watching from Saudi. Anmil, God bless you. Earlier on we had a whole conversation about and maybe we can have it someday, Anmil, just concerning Saudi Arabia and just that part of the world and how life is there. Yes, I'll be very keen to just see what we can be able kutengeneza around that particular area. But Anmil, karibu sana, and indeed we truly value you. Patricia Mwende, God bless you. And if you're listening to me, please get to sign in the register right there. Get to type in Niambie, Kapitan, I'm listening from this particular place, and probably also what exactly you're doing at this particular hour. It's 4:38 in the PM East African time. Let me know. Pale uko saizi unakimbia kajoga, you're about to cook supper, you're about to maybe leave the office. Okay, let me just know what exactly are you doing at this particular time, even as we just get to start our show this evening. Kindly just get to write it down right there. Tell me I'm listening and tuning in from a particular place, and nimechill too. Maybe niko kwa hao, maybe I'm just leaving the office, maybe I'm still at work. I run my own business. Niko bado tuko busy pale. Okay, let me get to know. Meanwhile as well, we call this our check-in hour. And check-in hour is simply the time when we are all joining in, okay? And so I kindly request you, we have an amazing the Tuesday segment. We have different segments for every single day. I never get tired of saying this. Different segments for every single day, Monday to Friday. On Monday, a day like yesterday, we had what we call the Monday Cruise. I know our show got terminated just like an hour after we started because of a reason I got to explain, and we said goodbye. Tukasema tupatane leo. But now today, Tuesday, we get to talk about what we call the family paradise, okay? And we just get to talk about a particular angle too. And today we are addressing a man issue. We'll be talking about, we have an agenda with a man, all right? And if you're not a man, I know you might be thinking, so let's just see yangu. Relax. Listen, when you talk about the men need to be talked to directly because they never attend some of these meetings, okay? But secondly, the ladies are also very important in this journey. Why? You are either the daughter to a man, or the wife to a man, or a sister to a man, or guess what? You're also raising another man. They could just be a boy right now, but let me tell you, you are right. We cannot kujitoa kwa hiyo equation, and that's what I want you here to the very end. And today we'll be talking about strong and silent. And we have an amazing guest coming on set. You will love him. And not just when the guest comes. Yesterday I was to unveil something, and today I'm doing it. I have a co-host, my people. I have a co-host, and I'm seeing her smiling right in front of me right here. And yes, if you know Drive 254, I've never had a co-host. But guess what? We're about to just get to unveil her. I will unveil her when I come next. But she's more than ready, and you will love her. And I wanted to just show her some love. The Drive 254 way. Tafadhali muoneshe upendo when I finally get to just put her on screen. But before she does, kindly get to invite somebody get to share this link, get to start a watch party, get kuchokoza hizo groups to my link kule ndani, and you will love the conversation, you will love the music, you will love our kind of interaction tonight. I promise you that. Okay, Binti Mugemaje from the Kingdom, nakumbuka ndo linifunza hii KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You're saying, praise God, I've missed you people of God. Binti Muge, tulikufanyia nini mami? I missed you personally, and thank you for finally coming on board. God bless you, God bless you. Kwa sababu ya story, tuma wimbo. Nicheze pale. I'll get to just play a song that will bless your evening. Thank you so much, Binti Muge from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Nzao Kavutu always coming in and saying, Madhare Massive, tuned in. I salute you. Asante, Nzao Kavutu. And I want you to just stay on board until we just start our, trust me, we have the icebreaker segment in Yanakam. And we just have, icebreaker segment is where we just have conversations where we just get to laugh, but get to have conversations about a very common thing that just happens around us, but that we never really get to talk about. Or sometimes it's a dilemma question and I want you to think about it. So guess what? Stick right here and you want to know what exactly do I have to give it today. Actually, yes, today I'm on set with my co-host and hii mtapenda. All right, Binti Mugemaje, I see you saying Muma Tilathma KE. Unamuita hapa. Thank you. Get to tag them here. Langat Gideon, you're saying tuned in, sir. Winding up the day with the Drive 254. God bless you, Langat Gideon. Thank you so much. Just saying, siku imetamba. But how do we just get to finish it without Drive 254? I truly thank you and salute you, Langat Gideon. God bless you. I mean, you always make our days right here. And today, Lord Nongalesha Wanaume, get me a couple. We'll just be having some very solid conversations with them as well. Beth Wasi Palma kutoka Mombasani anasema pia nami nimefika. Jetadin, karibu sana. KE Tilathma Muma. She. Okay. You're finally here. I'm sorry I cannot be able to tell maybe the gender so well, but karibu sana. You're saying Bwana Asifiwe, and our response to that right here on Drive 254 is always Asifiwe sana. Okay, get to send in a song request via my number 20374, starting with the word captain. And I tell you, even as we just get to cruise through today, let me tell you, through all the fun and the laughter that we'll just be having right here, the very essence is this, that even in the very simple conversations, that you will be equipped and that somebody gets to heal at the very end, that we get to learn, that we get to be equipped. That is the whole agenda by the time we are done with our time tonight. Okay, it's 16 minutes to the top of the hour. It's 4:44 p.m. Hello, good evening. This is Look Up Radio KE Drive 254 with your friend and host. They call me Captain Cargo. God calls me son. Okay, all right. Let me just list some more people and check up. VJ, Jonte, nakucheki. If you're listening by the way and you can be able to see me, please get to hit that like button. Get to comment down there also. Just tell me, unanisikiza kutoka wapi? I would love to appreciate you. I would love to give you a salutation that you truly deserve. Okay. Naambia, we've just started. When I'll be coming back to agendas, I'll get to unveil my beautiful co-host right here, and then we'll just get into the icebreaker segment of our show today. Are you ready? Get to invite a friend, get to invite a relative, get to share this link with love. Tuma kwa groups pale. Yes, I'm waiting for you. Tuma kwa hizo group and share on your WhatsApp status. Let somebody be part of our show tonight, courtesy of you. Keep it right here. Look up Radio Drive 254. We'll be back in just a few. Meanwhile, let me see. Let me get a song. Okay, good. Yes, I'm also looking forward to just play your playlist. All right, so get to send in also your playlist via my number 20374, starting with the word captain. I will see it and I'll bless your evening. Vibaya tena sana. Okay, listen to this beautiful song right here in just a short break that we'll be having. Please get to invite someone, get to share the link, get to invite somebody to be part of our amazing conversation tonight. And also kindly also tell me in the comment section, where you're tuning in from, and number 2, what exactly are you doing at this particular hour? Uko biashara? Are you about to just go for your evening jog? Are you getting the kids from school? All right. And as of course, mukiniona mimi niko job bado. Okay, are you about to leave the office? Let me know. Let me know. Keep it right here. Look up Radio Drive 254. Yes, this is yours truly, Captain Cargo. There you go. There you go. All right, 1, 2. Almost certain. 1, 2. Just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. But indeed, welcome yet again to Look Up Radio Drive 254 KE. And indeed, He's Everlasting. That is a song just that played by Kanzimbogo. Was actually a cover, all right, by I think a group from Nairobi Chapel. Welcome. Look Up Radio Drive, Look Up Radio KE, and this is Drive 254 show. If you are here already, let me know. I just gave you a couple of salutations just before I move to the next agenda. Beth Wasi Palma, Asante. No, Asante. Thank you so much, Beth Wasi. Just a very valuable member of our family right here on Drive 254. Naita Shianjoroge, Mwite. Alice Mudhiora, a Mary Nyar Makalda, our ambassador from Migori Yawa. Amepotea sana. Hata mimi I totally agree on that. But yes, tumwite. Hopefully she'll be able to just get to join in. I know she's a very busy lady, especially at this hour. But yes, let's see. And if you're there and you're listening to me, if you can kindly get to tag a couple of people, get to share the link, start a watch party, and let somebody just be part of our show, even as we get to start tonight. Okay, now I told you when I come back, I want to, let me see, I'm hoping Akuna mtu sijami. Bran Nyamoho, I also see you. God bless you, sir. Bran Nyamoho and Langat Gideon, God bless you. Now, check pale. Now, I'm back with 2 agendas. The icebreaker segment, of course, where we just have a conversations and get to brainstorm through some very real things that happen in our society. And yes, I'm coming to that. But before I do that, I promised you that when I come back as well, I will be unveiling for the very first time my co-host. Oh yeah. And I told you watu wangu, msiniangushe by the way, msiniangushe. When I get to unveil her, kind of get to show her some love and get to just give her a Drive 254 kind of welcome. Okay? Are you ready? She's smiling all the way, and I please be kind. Please be kind. My people, please be kind. And there you go. Number 1, 2. Ngojeni kidogo. Mko hapo ngoja kidogo. All right. I know you're waiting, so I will not keep you any longer. But yes, I will get to just unveil her, put her on screen, and then she'll tell us her lovely name. And as I said, kindly, be very kind. So tomorrow, ukiona hapa Drive 254 with Captain Cargo and so. Yes, no, at least I'm not alone. Mate sitamaliza peke yangu hapa. All right, there you go. 2, 3, go. There she goes. And she's waving. Please, somebody, gotta show her some love, even as a, yeah. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I am humbled to be here.
Lovely. Let me tell you, it's been a prayer for ages. I've been here all alone. Finally.
Now you have me.
Now I have you.
No more cold.
And you're such a beautiful addition to our Look Up Radio family. And
thank you very much.
Karibu sana.
Thank you. I am humbled.
And
to be with you.
Yes.
For you to take me through this journey,
yes.
I am humbled, and I'm so ready to learn from you, from the captain. I mean,
Karibu sana, and it will be worth every minute. Trust me. Okay.
I hope so.
Yes.
I know it will be.
It will.
Yeah.
Be. It will be.
Yeah.
All right. Get to introduce yourself, maybe to our people right here. Hey, Beth Wasi Palma. And I said, wow, welcome, beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much, Beth. Thank you. My first shout out.
Yay, that's Beth Wasi Palma. Asante. Ujaniangusha. Now get to tell them, what is your name?
My name, my ID name.
How would you want them to know you? Just whichever names.
I am Dolly
Mhm.
Frida K.
Dolly Frida
K.
K.
Yes.
Hey. Okay. Dolly Frida K.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Especially Dolly. Very interesting.
Not Dolly.
It's
It's Dolly.
Dolly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dolly Frida K. Dolly Frida K.
Yes.
Wacha nione comments huku kwanza. Thank you so much. Finally, karibu sana to the Look Up Radio family.
I appreciate.
This is Drive to 54 show. And by the way, for most of the time, she's actually always just been around the studio. And yes, we'll just be doing this together. Yes, at least for the season, God allows us to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you will just love, and you will just love her personality, and also just get to connect to her in person.
Oh, we will.
And
For
today
sure.
we have an amazing topic.
Mm-hmm.
And at least you're talking about men when we'll be talking about men when we have a lady in studio.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not saying she is the guest. Listen, she is my co-host. I'm actually just being informed that the main guest has actually arrived. As you can see, the main guest is Mr. Andrew Karaoke. All right? But we'll be having this conversation with you, Dolly Frida.
Yes.
And the reason we'll be having this conversation, the reason why it's actually very important that you be here is because I'm saying our today's conversation is not just an address to men.
Yeah.
Do you think, why do you think ladies are involved in this topic, Yaleo? Strong and silent.
We have brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us have sons
Uh-huh.
and uncles and all that. We have a man in our lives.
Yes.
So we definitely connect.
Mm.
And the boy child has been neglected for a long time.
He has.
Yeah. The girl child is all over the place. We need to uplift the girl child. I mean, the boy child has been neglected. And it's not okay.
And it's not okay.
It's not okay.
Okay. A very interesting point to just get, especially from a lady. Because, I mean, nowadays the whole agenda is just support the girl child, support the girl child.
Yeah.
Support me as I go to support the girl child. I mean. And we'll just be having a conversation around just the same kind of discussion before our guest arrives.
Yeah.
And yes, you want to just know what our icebreaker question will be. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Langat Gideon just saying, welcome to Drive 254, Frida.
Thank you, Legat.
Okay. All right, and we're just getting into it. If you're just joining us, welcome yet again. Get to hit that like button. Get to comment down there. Let me know where you're tuning in from, okay? On studio is myself, Captain Cargo, and Dolly Frida right here on the Drive 254. So now, let's have this conversation. And of course, we're also getting to involve you as our audience. Please get to tell us. Today we're talking about strong and silent.
Yeah.
All right. And in a very special way, our guest will be coming to just address that particular angle. But let me ask you.
Ask.
When you talk about the men, the men have been man, ni ngumu kwa mwanaume. Tuanze tu hapo.
Kwa mwanaume ni effort.
Yeah. I think there've been lots of pressure about, or rather on a man, and so many myths that go around just concerning men in general. Okay, and today, in just a few, I just want us to be able to talk about just a couple of myths that Zusemekana, that if you're a man, then you're this, or if you're a man, you should be this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and help me, child of God, in just a few. Get to tell me, what are some of those myths concerning a man
Yeah.
that we would just want to just get to say right here that apana hizo vitu that ni kama chocha.
Yeah.
They're not exactly true. For a just for a start, get to tell me, write it down there. Tell me, hashtag family paradise. Tell me, I'll just use hashtag drive254. Hashtag drive254. Then give me your answer. What are some of the myths associated with men? What are some of those myths? Maybe, Frida, you would remember any, or you know any?
Yeah, I mean, the boy child, growing up, you're told to be very strong,
Okay.
not show emotions, and then a man should be responsible for everybody. Your sisters should look up to you, whether you're younger or older.
Yes.
You should be the main guy in their lives. and then you should build a house, you should get a car, you should, I mean, there's so much the
There's so much.
society expects
Okay.
from a man.
So let me just break that down. Umesema number one, kitu ya kusema ati mwanaume hana emotions.
Yeah. Don't show them.
Simply put, wanasemanga hivyo.
Yeah.
Mwanaume hana emotions.
Yes.
So usilie.
Usilie.
Don't try to show any form of weakness.
Yes. And it's not a weakness.
Uh-huh.
It's not a weakness at all. Being emotional is a strength.
It is.
Yes.
For a man.
It is. That's why so many men are depressed.
Eh?
You bottle up the emotions and not talk to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What's the result? Depression.
And we collapse.
I mean,
And we collapse.
talk about it.
Uh-huh.
It's okay to talk about issues.
That's
Be
true.
emotional.
Mm.
Talk about these things. It helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I totally believe you on that one. And I just want to start with that particular one. Amesema ya kwanza, the first myth about men is that a man shows no emotions. And let me actually just throw it out there that some of them are just as simple as umepatana na wasi wakakwambia ati okay, mpatana na mtu and then akaanza tu kwambia story ya Arsenali,
Yeah.
story ya sijui Bake, story sijui ya cricket, cause it's assumed in society that a man is naturally a
Yeah.
sportsman.
Yes.
Olesikia wapi?
Only
Olesikia wapi? And I just wanted to give me as many examples of myths about a man
Yeah.
that are not exactly true. Let's just get to debunk them here today. All right? Even as we just start this conversation, so that it becomes very light, even by
Yeah.
the time our guest comes on set. Okay? So get to tell me, hashtag Drive254, then tell me a myth about men. A myth about men. Another myth, okay, it's your turn. You tell me, another myth about men. Mimi na mengi, mimi ni mwanaume, najua vitu tumeekelewa. Uh-huh.
One thing I don't believe
Right.
is a man should be the head of the family. Well, you can be the head of the family, yes.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, you have a partner to help you.
Okay.
Your wife should be a partner.
Uh-huh.
You will be the head, yes.
Uh-huh.
But communication
Uh-huh.
and talk about these things.
Okay.
You will say it, but it comes from both of you.
But someone has to be at the top at the end of the day. And not at the top kukaliana, but at the top to just be able to make the main decisions. Ama,
What are the main decisions, though? You have a family. You are
Uh-huh.
the two of you.
yes.
You make the family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will say it at the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
but the communication is the both of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, aya, wanaume, we've been sijui ni attacked, sijui ni but that's an opinion. They're also saying that part of the myth is that a man should not necessarily be the head of the family. Okay, tell me, what do you actually think about? We're just debunking different myths about a man. What do you think about men that has been said about them and that it's not exactly truth? Can you tell me? Irene Mwenda, she goes first and says, all right, hashtag Drive254. Tunaanza na hashtag Drive254. She says, it's okay for a man to cry. He's still human. He has feelings and emotion. And for him to cry does not mean he's weak, but just human, like any other person. I hear you. Irene Monzia just getting to agree and say that hapana. Hii kitu ya wanaume ati manze vumilia huko ndani. Ha! Umesema it's not true. We should also be allowed to express. But let me ask you on that particular, and I want to engage you on that freedom. Get to tell me on men being emotional.
Yeah.
How far does it go? Okay, how far will you allow us to be emotional? Like okay, ladies.
Yeah.
How do I put this to sound very nice? But
Just say it. Don't filter it.
Sometimes in just being emotional, you get very dramatic sometimes. All right? You and society will allow it. You're allowed to just break down anywhere, anytime. All right? And society will allow it.
Yeah.
Mwanaume, what are these situations exactly that you're actually trying to tell us that it is okay for us to be vulnerable and emotional?
Well, first of all,
Uh,
when you say someone is emotional,
Okay.
we are not dramatic. That's where you go wrong.
I said I'm trying to get a good one.
Exactly.
Well, maybe I failed at that.
So emotions,
Uh-huh.
showing emotions does not mean you're dramatic.
Okay.
You're just breaking down. It is allowed.
All right.
Yeah, it is just human to break down.
Uh-huh.
So for the guys, just talk about the issue. Don't bottle everything up.
Hey.
If you have to cry, cry.
Okay. Who are we meant to cry to?
Us.
Somebody get to tell me. Let me get her name right again. Irene. When you tell us it's okay for a man to cry, hebu tuambieni. Boy.
We
Tunaenda
can be a
kulia
shoulder
kabisa.
to lean on.
Kwa nani? Are we meant to go find some other man and go cry on their shoulders?
No.
Or we are coming to the significant ladies in our lives and getting to cry on their shoulders?
When you go to another guy,
Uh-huh.
he will tell you, hey, we say, ni nini, mwanaume aliagi. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you trying to say that it's ni sisi wenyewe hatujielewangi?
Yes.
We're the ones who demonize ourselves.
Mnajielewa,
Eh.
but then you have the mentality of, men, don't cry. Don't show the weakness. Talk about it.
Kimeibiwa, kimeibiwa, watu wangu kimeibiwa. Man, where are you? I need to hear your voices and you just telling me who normally bears that narrative that men should not cry. Ni sisi tunasemanga ama it's the ladies who actually put that pressure that you can be able to embarrass yourself in the presence.
I think
Uh-huh.
the first problem
Uh-huh.
is, I'm so sorry to say this, our mothers.
Our mothers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Think you grow up
Uh-huh.
saying,
Mhm.
don't cry.
Yes.
Wewe ni vijana wali.
Mhm.
And I think it's so wrong. It starts when you're so young. So you grow up knowing a boy doesn't cry.
Okay.
You're not, unalia unaambiwa, unalia kama msichana. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that is where the problem starts.
I hear you.
So when you go to school and cry, girls will laugh at you
Yes.
because you're a boy. You start being, suppressing your feelings because you're a boy.
Straight from when we were
Yes.
way younger.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So that's a problem.
So we are saying ni our moms ambao walituharibu. My people, are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? I still want to understand. When we say that men should not cry, my goodness, I thought we could even have 10 minutes. Hii moja tu tayari tumeshinda kutoka hapa.
I know.
It's as controversial as... Because listen, and it's not exactly controversial, we're just trying to understand it. Number one, who peddles that kind of narrative that men should not cry? Is it men who put pressure upon fellow men that you can talk? Or is it the ladies who never expect men to cry? Please tell me. Just give me your very raw thoughts on the same. Niambie, who gives the other pressure? Aye. Okay. Cynthia Kiari is saying, hi, nimejet in. Thank you. And he's saying, I love your guest co-host.
Thank you.
Hey.
I love you too.
Cynthia Kiari, she loves you right back. Okay, so just get to tell me. I see Cynthia Kiari saying, hashtag Drive254, it is okay for a man not to deliver. As in, anaweza kosa pesa. It's okay. Things may fail to work. It's okay for the wife to step in. This conversation gets more interesting. It's okay for the wife to step in. Don't pressure your husbands. Do you agree with that?
I agree
Frida?
with that. Totally.
Really?
Totally. Cynthia, me and you yani. Tunaelewana.
Sasa unasema mwanaume akikwama.
It is okay for us. Tunakwamue. And it's okay to talk. Just come to me. Tell me, hey Frida, niko down. This is what happened. I made this decision. It didn't go right. And I lost some money.
Okay.
What do we do? But then, as a man, because of the ego, you
Yeah,
want.
this sounds very interesting on theory. Sounds very interesting on theory. Number one, it's very hard for a man to just go to, assuming I'm not even married, and I'm just going to my my friends who are ladies. I probably just have a couple of them who are my friends. Alafu nikwambia, hey manze, nimekwama place fulani.
Yeah,
Say for example it's rent. All right? Hiyo maneno before itamkike,
I know.
I come to you. But also, sometimes the problem, and man, wacheni niache kusulubishwa peke yangu. Get to talk, get to tell me. When men come and say it as it is, you as a lady, very sincerely speaking, you as Irene, you as Dolly Frida, you as CK, get to tell me, mwanaume amekwamiwa pahali, amekuja kukwambia, man, mimi nisaidie tu na 1000 zako hapo 5, nitakimbia mjengo, ndakurudishia. How many times do you sincerely why? What is the first thought that comes to your head? You think of helping them, or you first think, wait a minute, what sort of a man is this?
Well, you don't think that.
Wacha nimweke kamera bwana.
You don't think that. I mean, this is your man. You love this guy.
Okay.
So you have to help this guy. But the first thought would be, why didn't you tell me something happened? Explain to me what happened to the money. How did you lose it? You don't
will need
just
that
give it.
explanation.
Yeah, you need that.
Unajua ni vile tunasemanga sisi, kuna kateda na gojea. Kuna kateda na gojea na hakajaiva. Kuna biashara na subiri, lakini mambo haijaivana. So as you're asking about where the money is, I actually didn't have it and then lose it. Ni biashara man, biashara ziingiana.
Pesa imekwama mahali.
Zimekwama mahali. Kuna kadil. Ukishasikia mwanao anakuambia kuna kadil.
Sengine inaweza kuwa ni kugamble tu. Umeenda ukagamble somewhere. That is not a kadil. Akajaenda vizuri. It's a bad decision.
Well, it is. So you're saying the first thing you would do is ask a man what happened to your money?
Yeah, what happened?
So there's almost an assumption that he should be having money that he actually lost.
Yes. He should.
I got her. So it's actually assumed that he should be having some cash that kama hana ni kupotea ilipotea.
There's something that happened.
There's something that happened.
Yeah.
Don't you think that is pressure? Man, where are you? I'm still calling out on you. Where are you? Langat, and my goodness, let me see who's here as well. Brand Nyamoho, I want to know, I want to hear your very raw thoughts. Felista saying, praise God, servants of God. Indeed, we salute you right back. Thank you, Felista. Karibu, our ambassador at Doha, Qatar. Okay. And just before you actually just get to respond, Cynthia Carrier also saying, Cargo, your men have made life so hard for yourselves. Sisi tena. Okay, ata kama society inawakazia. What's wrong with opening up in case umekwama? Sisi, hiyo opening up tunaweza jaribu. Lakini hiyo questionnaire nimesikia uko nayo. That questionnaire that I should answer. Hey,
it's not so much though. It's as simple as explaining. Nimekwama hapa because of this and this.
Yes.
And I need your help. Just that. And gladly, I will do it. The same thing I expect when I come to you and explain nimekwama mahali. I mean, you will need an explanation. It's
do we actually ask for an explanation?
You do actually.
Yeah. Man, again, I'm asking you, where are you? Do we actually ask for okay, it's very important just for the sobriety of both parties, just to know just to know what exactly happened.
Yes.
Like, so you need 10K. Is that Nini? Okay, what happened? You are employed, maybe. Get to tell me that. So, okay, I would assume that we also ask the same question.
Assume.
I'll give you a case scenario. I have a sister, and my pretty girl out there. I know she might be listening. My little sister. I just have one baby sister. Yake kupigia simu. Hakunanga story mingi ati kulienda kulirudi.
Yeah.
Captain, I'm thinking of changing my hairstyle.
Yeah.
Okay? And na labda mlikuwa mshaongea hiyo story budget pahali na unajua lakini akwambia yeah, na sasa hata wanasema ati kidogo imeongezeka. I will not even get to this, to the detail sana. But she's almost calling, not requesting, like she's just expecting, like yo, spill the money.
Yeah.
I don't think we come with that kind of questionnaire. To be honest, I don't think
No,
people.
but you see,
Yes.
she just told you
Uh-huh.
she needs to do this and this.
Okay,
That is the explanation.
that is
Simple.
enough.
That is
explanation.
enough, yes.
Okay, okay.
So you just want to come to your lady and say, I need this amount of money.
Okay.
And she just gives it to you without any explanation. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. All right, I totally agree, and I will not fight it anymore. Nimemalizia hapo. Let me go to another thorny issue. Just another thorny issue, especially just regarding men and a myth that is, well, since pressure ile kwa wapi, sijui kama ni ya wanaume tumejekia pressure, ama also it's the society. Ladies and gentlemen, get to tell me, when you go out for a coffee date,
Yeah.
or you go out for lunch with a friend who is of the opposite sex, who pays the bill? Who pays the bill? Okay.
Depends.
Who should pay the bill? And don't get too technical, mwanze kuniambia kuhusu Dutch dates and sijui nini.
Yes,
No,
yes.
don't go there. Let's just work with whatever. Kitu inafanyikanga tu. Mmeenda kahawa tu nje vizuri. You could be married, you could be single, right? But you've gone out. Naturally. Hey, who is expected to pay the bill? Get it, talk to me. Tell me right here. Drop 254 and then give me your thoughts. Who should pay the bills? Frida.
The guy. It is, I mean, naturally, the guy.
Why?
I mean, it's just expected. Most of the time, you pick up the bill to pay, and he's like, "You cannot pay my bill. I cannot accept your money." Hey, don't fight it. You say, "Okay, go on." Easy.
Now, let me ask you. It's okay. I totally agree with that. But do you think that every other time when we say, let me just handle the bit, I mean the bill, do you think sometimes we genuinely mean it? Like, do you think kuna time tunanga tumelemewa?
Like I said, the ego part.
Not the ego part. No.
You do have so much ego that you cannot accept for me to pay that bill. Because let me tell you what people say. They will say, mimi nitakubali pesa ya mwanamke, siwezi. That's how it will go.
That's what we say.
And then you think, we will go saying, but this ile siku nilikubaya lunch.
Aibu ndogo staki.
Yes.
Na ilikuwa chipo tu. Hey. Wewe sema hivyo ukiwa umenunulia nyama, pork pahali.
Thank you. See? That's why you don't agree to these things. I mean, it's just a bill. Sometimes just accept. It's our treat.
But also let me just push it a bit further and ask you, how many times as ladies do you even suggest, can I please handle the bill? How many times do you even hear that question?
I think the very first, if you go out the very first, like 2 dates, you will suggest it. And then this girl will be, no, don't. So you give up. The next time you just automatically, the guy will do the bills.
So you're saying, okay, mine is actually very general. It could just be in the form of just friends, all right? It could just be friends, all right? And in that particular capacity of just friends, it's probably not even that you're pursuing a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
It's probably just a friend that you've not seen for many years, all right? And you get to meet them the first time or maybe the second time. You're saying, naturally, the man should pay the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it depends
With what?
with the kind of relationship you two have. If it's a friend, either of you
We
can
were
pay
just
the bill.
primary school friends, classmates.
But who asked the other out for lunch?
Okay, are we actually, I was looking for that angle. Are we saying that question normally matters?
It matters. It does.
Hey.
When I call you for lunch,
Wanaume, where are you? When you ask me to meet,
yes.
you get to decide the venue and you get to take care of the bill.
Yes.
Ulisikia wapi? Uh-huh.
It's interesting. I had the same conversation earlier
Okay.
with some different people,
All right.
and these men thought, if I ask you to meet for lunch,
Yes.
I should not pay for your transport to that place. I should not cater for anything. If you go for the lunch,
Okay.
for dinner,
Yes.
as a guy, I will either decide to pay the bill.
Get to decide.
Yes, get
Ooh.
to decide
Uh-huh.
whether to pay the bill
Uh-huh.
and transport home.
Uh-huh.
So it's a decision at that time, which I thought is very weird, because if I call you out,
Okay.
I expect to cater for your transport, for your bill.
For real.
Yeah.
My goodness, my why? You're saying that if you got to call me, say, let's meet out for a lunch date in town, all right? You're saying you get to cater for my fare
Yes.
to and fro, and get to cater for the bill.
I mean, I expect the same from you. If you do the same, if you call me, I'm in my house, I'm comfortable. Umenitoa kwa nyumba vizuri tu.
Father Lord. But let me tell you, I was actually being very nice when I was thinking about just the bill on the table. You mean nowadays fare is also part of the question?
I mean, it is.
No wonder kukula fare. Okay. No wonder that famous street. Oh my goodness.
Kula fare.
Ah.
Yeah.
Really?
But it's important. It's important to be a gentleman.
But let me ask you. If at all we are friends, I am not just your friend.
Yes.
And you're trying to be my friend. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
If we are friends and you're saying, let's meet out for lunch.
Yeah.
Or for some dinner. Why not pay? I mean, the last thing that should be in my head is, because friendship is about giving and receiving. Then part of my contribution is, at least, let me just get myself there.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it used to work back then in my old
Well,
days.
I don't disagree with that. Being friends,
Okay.
you can go Dutches, by all means.
No, at least fair. Bill tukifika, someone should handle it.
No. Mkuwa friends, wacha kila mtu ajilete tao. Or
Okay.
whatever the place.
Yes.
But the bill, you can discuss. I mean, msifinyiliane.
I'll be giving a very personal, and I'm hoping the person is not actually listening.
I hope so. I hope you're listening.
I'll be giving a very personal just testament of something that happened once. And hiyo ndio siku mwanaume anatembeanga nyumbani. Okay? But as we wait for that story, and it's now 28 minutes, just 2 minutes to the top, to half past, and my guest will be, I'm actually told that he is in the building already. Let me read a couple of your comments. Elizabeth Mwihaki saying, hi Captain, ndani kabisa. Great. Ooh. What just happened? Let me see. Let me get that comment again. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Let me see. Elizabeth Mihaki saying, hi Captain, ndani kabisa, great show. Thank you, Elizabeth Mihaki. I would also have loved to just get to know your thoughts on the subject on the table. And then Felista, my ambassador from Doha, Qatar. And with me, I'm always hard on men. Ndio wamefika. With me, I'm always hard on men. Why? And so, if I give my take about it, it will be embarrassing.
No, Felista, please give it.
Felista. Stora kimjadala. Get to tell us, at least for the sake of my my co-host right here, Dolly Frida. Okay? Anataka kujua sana ungesema nini. I'm almost sure I've heard some of your sentiments. I'm almost sure tutasema, but just got to say it anyway. Irene Mwanzia anasema, you man, mmefanya life to be hard for you, all in the name of mwanaume ni kuvumilia. And let me say, mwanaume ni kujikaza. Okay, nasemanga sisi tunasemanga
Mwanaume ni effort.
Mwanaume ni effort. My friend, kama hauna. Speak out and be held. Isa scam. Kama hauna hautekikani. There's just, I mean, before you find someone to embrace you as a man, when you genuinely are not able to just step up,
Yeah.
I promise you,
It's quite hard, really.
It's
I
really
know
hard.
that. Yeah.
it's really hard. And the worst thing you can do, but actually, I normally say it this way. Anytime in the circle of, and I'll just be reading some of the other comments right away, but when a man tells you, I don't trust you, and when a woman says, I don't trust you, they're coming from two worlds apart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When a woman says, I don't trust you, most of the time, they're almost saying that, listen, I feel threatened. My territory is threatened.
Okay.
And I don't trust you because I suddenly feel like they're invaders. All right? When a man gets to say, remember, a man is naturally a hunter.
Yeah.
When a man gets to say, I don't trust you, let me, before I even give what it actually means now on the man side, you would actually agree with me that catfights between women and women are more than men and another man fighting
Yeah.
over the same woman.
Yeah.
All right? Why? When a man comes to a point where he says, you know what, I don't trust you, what a man in actual sense is saying is this: in my moment of vulnerability, which doesn't normally happen, in my moment of vulnerability, I trusted you with a part of me that many never get to access.
Yeah.
And now, when I hear the same, when I hear you discuss my vulnerabilities, my weaknesses, and I hear it out as the talk of town, that gets to crush me. And that breaks forever
Yeah.
my trust, the trust we had with you. So when a man comes and just talks and tells you, man, nimekwama place, and then you get to trash them off and go telling everybody, what sort of man is that?
Yeah.
Alikam kuniomba ati thou ati
Yeah.
chukue Uber and what sort of man is that? Ati yako na food jana. Who
Yeah.
would even believe that?
Wewe ni mwanaume na gani?
And then I get to hear it.
Yeah.
That breaks me a million times.
Yeah.
Breaks me a million times. Child of God, before I even just get just to but it's very important to just understand that difference. When we can actually use the same words, but they totally mean different things in our world.
It's true.
All right,
Yeah.
and you totally agree on that one.
I agree.
Finally, we have a handshake.
Agree.
We have a handshake. Ruth Gashuru, I see you. Lucy Simayo, Felista, Irene Monzia, CK, Langat Gideon, Patricia Monde, Binti Muge, and every last one of you who's here. God bless you. God bless you. Let me read some of the other messages right here. Irene Monzia also saying, if you call me out, not a must to pay all the bill. I can help you out.
Yeah.
You should see Frida right here. If you call me out, not a must, you pay all the bill. I can help you out.
Yeah.
Maybe you pay the food, I pay for the drinks.
Thank you.
But that depends, Pia, on a status I'm saying.
It depends, actually.
Why?
It really depends. If you're a top guy, the cargo, you're captain.
Na mkumbuke nilisema ndo peana story. Hivi tisi pole sana.
I don't expect to go Dutches with you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
I mean, you're doing well. Why would you expect us to share a bill of 5,000, of 2,000?
Unifunze kunyamaza. Let me ask you, Frida. What indicates that a man is doing well? And me doing well yesterday does not automatically mean that I am doing well today. We probably met 2 months ago, and you have a version of the captain you met 2 months ago. It's 2 months later. Why still assume I'm still in the same place?
Because you will behave like you're the same captain.
Okay.
And that's why we're saying,
All right.
speak up. Tell us, I was doing well last month, but this month, niko chini. Speak up.
Oh, yeah. My goodness. Okay, I hear you. So you're saying, and I totally agree with you on that, that if we met 2 months ago, if we meet again today, I'm likely to still behave as if, in fact, we will still meet in the same place we met last time.
Yeah, or higher.
Fuliza place kitu nimefanya na Fuliza.
Matala hapa na pale.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's a question actually that I'll be asking my guest when he comes. When you talk about ego on a man,
Yeah.
when you talk about ego on a man, it's a very difficult question to even just process because ego is both good and bad.
Yeah.
All right? There's a degree of it that is totally toxic, but there's also a degree of it that a man can't function without.
Yeah.
All right? Hiyo swali wacha hivyo vizuri, natupia my guest I know you're probably just listening, Mr. Andrew Karaoke, and I'm just gonna I'll throw that hot potato to you when you just get to arrive, and I'm told that he's actually in the building. So let me just read these comments, let me go get him already. Irene Monzia saying, man, msikubali kumia, all in the name of being gentleman. Okay, Irene. I hear you. Let me see. Shian getting to say, let me see. Beth Wasipalma, Nimikam, dear, thanks. Welcome. Shian Joroge, ambassador from Zambezi, Kikuyu. Okay, let me see. Lengat Gideon is saying, an interesting topic. Wanaume. We can't be talking about strong and silent, and then you just follow through the conversation just to prove that yes, you're describing you as a man silent. No, get to speak up. Okay, Langat Gideon, I would want to know your thoughts. Virginia Nganga, Nakucheki, you're also saying Nawapata mbaya. Great to have you on board, Virginia Nganga. Get to tell me also your thoughts. Just niambie.
There's a comment I see here. Irene Mwanzia.
What is she saying?
Kago. No lady mwenye hanaga fair. It depends on who has called out.
Whoa! Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Let's have a very Freda Melipo.
Oh, money has been poured.
Aye, money has been poured. I like what she said. There's no lady haizi pata fair.
Hata ukilipa hiyo cab. Akona fare, yes. Akona fare sana ya kujileta na kujirudisha. But it depends on who's calling.
My God. Okay. So if you're just tuning in, we're having this conversation about men and the myths that just revolve our lives. And someday we'll actually be talking about now the ladies, and then we will now be on the offensive side, and you'll now be on the defensive. But today, I just want us to just get to, and it's a subject we cannot even finish today.
Yeah.
All right. So actually today and next week we'll be having a very prime guest who'll be addressing that particular issue, very different angles of what we just call masculinity and men in general. But I want you to just get to tell me, even as I go to get my guest, you tell me, when we go out for those lunch days, when we go out maybe just for a fun day, ulesikia wapi that lazima mwanaume alipe? Why must it be that way? Frida, umenishangaza. I thought the question ends at the bill on the table. Excuse me, mpaka fair.
Again, there's something people call nowadays toxic masculinity.
Toxic
Yes.
masculinity.
It's a big issue with men.
Tell me about it.
Please be ready to talk about issues. Don't be toxic just because it's manly. I have to be a man.
Hey.
I have to do this. We don't do this. We don't talk about this. Be easy. Be human. Unaumia ndani ya roho.
Are you hearing us? Is someone just here? And that's why I would want to also get a comment from a man. Yes, because again, I just thought, maybe sikukuja hapa kama spokesman wanaume. Wanaume, I know you're listening. Gotta tell me. It's, to be honest, Frida, and to be honest, every other lady out there, it's not easy, right? It is not easy, and especially if you, and let me tell you why it's not easy. Because my kind of trust, when I give you my trust, as I've already explained, I'm actually selling you a package of a vulnerable side of my life. Okay? And then I'm truly hoping, wacha nikwambie, kama mzeambiwa, this is actually very true. When a man gets to tell a lady, "Oi, na tafadhali, usiambie mtu." You have no idea what are the prayers and fasting we have to do after that.
But then unaharibu the moment umesema usiambie mtu. That's where
we almost have to remind you, because I mean everything to you is news.
I think aungesema tu usiambie mtu. The moment umesema usiambie mtu, hey, there's something kwa akili tu ina switch. Like I have to say this. Someone has to hear this. My best friend. I mean, my best friend hears about it. Tell her best friend. I mean, it's a whole circle. Your news.
and that's how we're killing a man at a time. A man at a time.
But then why do you think that one particular moment that you're vulnerable is so mighty and great?
Because in our world, we don't have many big things. We just have very many small things. So when these small things are just exposed to the wrong world, then they crush our entire world.
So let me ask you like a very simple example.
Okay, wanaume kujeni nyuma yangu.
When you say you're down, you're broke.
Yes.
Is that the biggest thing you can never tell your significant other? Because you think that will crush you if people know about it?
Okay. Hapo sitaki kujibu. Let my guest come and answer. My guest is a male. He is a man, Mr. Andre Karaoke. I will just get him on set in just this break. And yes, he will get, don't forget that question. And we'll definitely get to answer him. Get to answer Frida through my guest. Yes. Now that wanaume wote wamenyamaza. Virginia Nganga, I see you as well. And let me just read that comment even as I just take this break so that I get my guest on board. Must never be that way. Depends on the lady. Tujiweze bwana. Hey! Hey!
Tujiweze.
Kini wasekao. Virginia. You know, actually here, okay. And I don't want to keep my guest out for too long, but she's almost saying that by you always accepting kulipiwa, it's almost always felt like a woman is just there to be helped.
Yeah.
And that is a very important point, because sometimes I'm meeting a lady who is very evidently doing well, actually way better than I am. I came with my Mitsubishi. I came with my Toyota. With my Toyota. And she came just spinning her Lexus. Came spinning her V8. And I'm still expected to pay.
Yeah. Because
you should see the straight face on her. Kisema yes.
I mean, yeah, it should happen. We expect men to be reliable, dependable. And we need that in a man. And it doesn't mean we are not able to do all these things. But I need a man who is strong. I don't want another lady.
We only have two genders. Okay, you can question it, Aisha. Let me go get my guest. Keep it right here. Look up Radio Drive 254 with yours truly, Captain Cargo and Dolly Frida. Okay, and in just a few we'll be joined in by our guest. We've kept him waiting, and I know he really wants to be part of this conversation. So just give us a minute. We'll get him on set, and yes, get to invite a friend, get to share the link, start a watch party. Be part of a conversation tonight. It's just about to get more smoky. So keep it right here. In just a few minutes, we'll be back. Send in your song request to my number 20374. And when we'll be back, I'll get to see it. And yes, I'll play it for you. Okay. Meanwhile, we take a short break now. Nani. Alright. Amani featuring Pitson. Take a listen. Keep it right here. Relax. Kunya maji kidogo. We'll be right back.
It's a mighty G.
Okay, we're back. We'll have Shani, that beautiful song right there, in just a few minutes later on in our next break. It's now 8 minutes to the top of the hour, and I can almost already promise you that this conversation is far from over, and we're just getting to the main source. My guest, nimemweka madakika kadhaa pale. And I've just been bringing him up to speed on the kind of conversation we've been having and all the different angles. My dear viewers here hapo wamekuwa wakinipatia. You would be shocked. At least finally, we're now two men in the room. Yeah, because I was really feeling very overpowered. But I'm grateful that finally I have someone, yes, who can also be able to speak on behalf of the silent, quiet men who are just following. Wamenyamaza tu. And I'll just be getting to introduce him to you. He's Mr. Andrew Karaoke, and he'll be telling us, yes, we'll just be drawing from the wealth of you walking this life as a man.
Yes.
You also raising other men,
Yes.
and you also have a very unique story as well of just what your journey has been like in the hands of men or in the with the lack of them in your life as well. All right.
Okay.
And yes, I'll just be introducing him to you, and I know you all just getting to mnashangaa kwapi in just a few minutes. Irene Monzia, I see you saying song request Mifupa Mikavu by Irene Monzia. Oh, okay, interesting. Irene Monzia, I will definitely give that to you. I will. Let me just get to look for it. Then in our next break, I will play it for you without fail. Thank you so much. And of course, I am also still joined in by my co-host Frida, Dolly Frida. Yes, she's in the building still. Okay, so you'll be getting to see both of them as we continue. Mr. Andrew Karaoke,
Yes, sir.
are you ready for the hot potato?
Let's go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just get to introduce him right away. There he goes. There you go.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Asante sana. It's an honor to be here.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And pole, tumekuweka nje kidogo.
No problem.
And I was feeling really under attack. Vitu nimeambiwa hapa. Hey man, tuna sida.
Okay.
Lakini ni shida nzuri. We're just trying to have a conversation about men.
Okay.
All right, and especially the 21st century man. I don't know if it's really a 21st century man or it's always been this way. I mean, I've only lived in one century. So, I mean, we're trying to really understand, and hopefully we can also be able to borrow from scripture and see. When you talk about strong and silent, that is a statement, a full statement that totally describes a man. All right? That's what we're trying to understand and see. When they talk about strength, is it actually perceived strength? Is there pressure to overperform in that area? Or are we actually strong? What do you think?
Well, this comes in different directions. Huh? And the first thing is that, let me say,
Yes.
the obvious is the physical aspect of a man.
Okay.
A man is physically stronger than his counterpart.
Yes.
And so physically a man is stronger.
Okay.
But I'm sure your audience is looking at the other aspects of strength.
Exactly.
Is he emotionally, financially, psychologically stronger? And I don't think there's any scientific basis for that. But I might be able to tell you where it comes from.
Okay, please do.
What we would usually default to as men
Right.
is the fact that Adam was created first. And so, by tradition, and what we know as, call it primogeniture, okay? Which means the right of the firstborn. Then the one who was created first should be the leader.
That is the natural protocol of life.
That is tradition. That is a natural protocol as we see through scripture.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And that has brought a whole lot of confusion. The second factor is that the woman was created as a helper. So it is assumed that she is unable to do as much as a man. She was brought in to fill the remaining gap.
Okay. Okay. And right about there, just trust me. Mawe inakuja. Mawe zinaenda kukuja hapo.
But
Uh-huh.
you know, over time and experience, just looking at things, one thing I will say, personally, this is personally,
All right.
I think women are very strong physically.
Someone is clapping already. Uh-huh.
Repeat that again.
Women are very strong physically.
All right.
If a man was to carry a baby
Oh my.
9 months,
Uh-huh.
I think it would be a season of drama.
I agree.
So strength can be seen physically in different ways,
Yeah.
and emotionally, psychologically, in different ways. So my basic conclusion is, some we win, some we lose, even though there is no competition.
Very wise way to put it there. Some way we win, some way we lose, even though there's no competition. And that is a very important aspect to just embrace, because we're living in a society whereby whenever we just talk about, like earlier on, part of the conversation we're also having is, why should a man literally be the head of the family? Okay? And the moment we mention the head, we are thinking already there's nothing higher than that. So it already feels like a competition with the female counterparts. And my people are waiting. They're saying, wanawake si lazima tell me, why? What is it, a myth, or it's actually the very way God intended it to be, a man being the head? And what does it mean exactly?
Thank you for adding that last part of the question, because I think understanding that
Yes.
then helps us to understand, or to choose, or to think whether you really want to be the head. You first have to
Interesting.
understand what is the head. Okay, so you know, our modern day life and life as we have seen it and the way it goes,
Yeah.
the head is the boss. He's the one who calls the shots. He's the one who gives direction. He's known as a leader. But that is according to the world.
Okay.
It is not according to scripture.
It is not.
Let me give you two examples.
Uh-huh.
For one, we know
Okay.
that man was cast out of the Garden of Eden at creation because Adam sinned.
Yes.
But Adam didn't eat the fruit. It was Eve.
It was Eve
Yeah.
who ate first.
Who ate first.
Okay.
Then she gave her husband.
Uh-huh.
So Eve should have been thrown out and Adam should have remained.
Ideally.
Ideally.
Okay.
No, not ideally. Because we have to understand what the head is. The head, being a head, means serving those who have been placed in your responsibility. Being the authority means you are responsible for those who are under you.
Okay.
You're their servant. And we see this perfectly in the picture of Jesus Christ. He was a servant. He was such a servant that he would choose to die for us, for you, for me, for everybody.
Yes.
So, you first have to decide whether you want to be the head, because being the head means taking up the responsibility for those you're with.
Okay.
If you are taking a lady out, pay the bill.
Odangu!
It's simple.
See, you're taking responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah?
So the key word we're actually saying is responsibility.
It's responsibility. I think taking people out and paying for bills and things is not very complicated. And it really shouldn't be an issue. I think we should be able to bless one another every now and then. So, you know, the ladies, but sometimes it's nice to appreciate your man.
There goes the man.
It is.
And men, appreciate your ladies. But there are other places it simply becomes a challenge. I always wonder this. I've been married 23 years.
23 years.
Wow.
And God has been good. He has kept us safe. But I always wonder,
Yes.
if we were attacked in the home,
Mm-hmm.
would I be willing to tell my wife, hey, acha huko?"
Kimbia kwa mlango.
Yes. Nobody wants that responsibility.
I hear you.
That's where a man must step in and show his strength.
Well put. Well put. Frida,
Yeah.
you.
I totally agree on that.
Uh-huh.
We cannot fight. Physically, I agree. You're stronger. In some instances,
Yes.
emotionally, we can debate on that.
I
Okay.
agree.
And strength, Pia, like you said, it would be a whole drama if you were to bear kids.
And much more, yes.
And much more. We actually someone once put it this way and said that when we think of the woman as a helper, it does not necessarily mean that you are the lesser one. And they actually used this example and said, anytime you're stuck, you're probably in a ditch somewhere. Whoever comes as the helper is actually a stronger version.
I agree with you on that as well.
You do.
I do, and this is why I'm saying it's really
Uh-huh.
not a win or a lose situation.
Yes.
I think women are amazingly strong. Physically, emotionally, psychologically. Yeah, we might look bigger. We
Yes.
might be lift something heavier,
Mm-hmm.
and not all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Women are very strong, and I totally agree with you that unfortunately somebody has twisted the concept of helper
That's right.
and made it look like something secondary or bad.
Okay.
I think it's a privilege.
It is a
I
privilege.
think it's an honor. And just like you said,
Mm.
that guy couldn't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
He needed somebody else. So where is it that you decide you're better than the lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Very-
wait,
but-
let me throw in a disclaimer. Yeah, let me just throw in a disclaimer there.
Okay. Uh-huh. Throw it fast.
But the lady has to be helping.
The lady has to be helping.
Yes.
Please explain that.
Let me use a picture of a king.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
A king is coronated,
Mm-hmm.
and he essentially becomes a king,
Yes.
which nobody knows until the crown is put on his head.
Mm.
Therefore, his head, without the crown, really is not much.
Yes.
It's unknown, unnoticed.
Mm.
But on the other hand, a woman is like the crown, precious metal, but without a head,
Okay.
it's just on the table. Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
put the two together for the king to come out, for the rulership to come out, for dominion to come out, for God's purposes to be fulfilled.
Wow.
And so none is better than the other. They have to work together.
Mm.
We have to help one another. We have to live together. It's supposed to be mutual.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andrew, I don't even know if you know just the weight of what you've actually said, but I personally think this is phenomenal for this reason. You're saying, number one, you've eliminated the whole thing about competition.
Yes.
Competition in terms of roles, competition in terms of strength, competition in terms of just all this. It's not a competition. We were meant to coexist in a way that we're just better with each other.
That's
Right.
right.
In the competition world, quote unquote, they normally say that, as I quoted earlier, and say that they would think, why is a man the head of the family? Because we're almost thinking there's nothing higher than the head.
The head.
But now when you brought the just just the illusion of a crown. What is a king without the crown?
What is a man without the woman?
Oh my goodness. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing? That has got me so excited, because what is the king without the crown, and what is the crown without the head? Tunaweza fungia show hapo.
I mean, yeah. But
ma-
then I have a question.
Please do ask.
I agree there is no competition at all.
Mhm.
But this generation, there's too much competition. No one wants to lose.
So where is it
Ukifanya hata
coming
mi
from?
nafanya. Ukiongea hata mi naongea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a whole different concept.
concept.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Frida, I think these things have come from right now, as things are. The Prince of Darkness has a grasp on the world, and there are lies that have been perpetuated and perpetuated over the years. The first is the lie of contracts. Okay,
Yeah.
and what a contract basically is, if I give Frida something, she must give me something in return,
Yeah.
right? And so we get into relationships, we get into arrangements where it must be comme ci, comme ça. All right?
Explain that French.
It must be give and receive.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
I love you because you love me.
Yeah.
Yeah? I'll go out with you if you,
Yeah.
I don't know, fill in the blank.
Very conditional.
Yeah? I'll marry you if
Yeah.
it's very conditional. Nice. Thank you for making it easier for me. That is the truth about a contract. A contract has conditions. It says this and this and this must happen
Yes.
before
Any
I
transaction.
fulfill my side of the contract. And that has distorted everything down to our basic relationships,
Yeah.
because they were never created that way. They were created to be unconditional. We don't deal with contracts. We are supposed to deal with covenants.
Covenants.
Covenants. Now, I know you're just about to ask, so what's the difference?
No. I actually wanted to, because covenants, I'm sure, is not a strange word even to our listeners. Only that we last heard about it in CRE, somewhere back then.
It's heavy.
Tell us the reality of a covenant. What is a covenant?
So a covenant, this is going to be interesting. A covenant is a decision of one person to fulfill a promise to another, unconditionally. The best picture, of course, is a picture of God and Abraham.
Yes.
Abraham had done nothing to earn God's favor.
That's true.
God just chose him. But at the very beginning, God told Abraham, I will make a covenant with you, and you will be the father of many nations, and your descendants will fill the earth.
Yes.
Later on, when you look at Genesis chapter 17, is it just 17 or 15? I'm not sure. I think it's 17.
Okay.
Maybe it's 15. I'm not sure.
Check it out.
God comes to confirm that covenant with Abraham. And there's this thing where Abraham is supposed to get certain animals, I think some turtle doves, some sheep, some oxen, and split them in two.
Yes.
That is known as, that was based on a certain tradition that was done between kings. And they would separate these two halves, and each king would walk between the two halves.
Okay.
Basically saying, just as I'm passing through these two halves, I promise to keep my side of the bargain. And if I don't, let me be split like these two halves. So
Okay.
it's unto death. You will die. You're making a covenant to death. And both kings would do that.
Would walk in
They would
between.
walk in between that.
All right.
Wow.
What happened with God and Abraham?
Mm.
Abraham was kind of fell into a deep sleep,
Yes.
and a flame appeared, which was symbolic of God,
Mm.
and passed between the two halves,
Okay.
but never asked Abraham to do the same.
Ah. So it was only God who just passed in between.
Think about this. This is amazing. God made a covenant with Abraham, saying, if I don't fulfill this covenant, I will die on,
Wow.
on that basis.
Yeah.
I will give my life up.
Mm.
And he literally did.
Okay.
Jesus Christ
Gave up his life.
gave up his life
Yes.
for humanity.
Mm.
But the point is this:
Mhm.
a covenant is a commitment you make regardless of what the other person's commitment is.
Mm.
And if you're like me, you do the journey of marriage for some time,
Mhm.
you discover it can be a lonely one sometimes,
Okay.
because you're carrying your side of the commitment. And you don't necessarily have to be rewarded,
Wow.
but vice versa. There are times my wife has had to carry her commitment, in
Mm.
fact, much more than me.
Wow.
But it's never because she does, then I will do.
Ah.
That you learn quickly. This is not the picture.
And I think that is an angle we're really missing in terms of the marriages we're having with the young people today.
Yes.
We're just thinking, they said we look good together.
Yeah.
So, go on to that line. Your public approval.
That's why you have the big weddings and everything.
Yes.
And then once we get in, just imagine, aye, she did. she did, she didn't. Nivo, I'm out. And you forget that the whole essence of the covenant was there was also my end of the bargain to keep. I was meant to make this work.
Work.
Was-
Absolutely. I was with a friend the other day
All right.
who does premarital counseling,
Mm.
and he was telling me about this incident.
All right.
I hope he doesn't mind me just talking about it.
Okay.
About a couple. They were walking through premarital counseling. And then he threw in a scenario, and he was like, okay, supposing after you get married,
Yeah.
after 3 months, this guy has an accident and he's paralyzed,
Mm.
neck down.
Yes.
After 3 months of marriage, you're still in your early 20s. You know, it's until death do you part.
Yes.
And the lady was like, no way.
She said it.
She said, no way, I cannot do that. And they eventually did not get married. But because she was not ready to make the commitment.
That's true.
And this is where I think as guys,
Mm.
we have issues.
Whoa.
This is where as guys, we have issues.
This is where we have
We
issues.
don't understand commitment. Ladies are much better than we are. But I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I am sure your lines are burning.
Hey, okay. All right. Let me just get to read Alice Mudhiora. I see you there just with a very surprised face, just thinking, hey, okay. Alice Mudhiora, please ask your question. Get to shoot your question. Get just to shoot your shot. And yes, be part of our conversation tonight. Let me just get to know, we're talking about strong and silent, and we're navigating just different angles about a man that sometimes are myths, sometimes we don't get to understand them, and we want to understand. Is this always the case? Kuna ukweli fulani on the ground that we don't get to see. All right. So if you have a question, get to send it in, and we'll just be getting to discuss it. Meanwhile, Dolly Frida,
Yes.
do you have a burning question already? Or something you'd want us to? Well, mlikuwa mmenishambulia sana.
I mean, we've gone so much deep into the conversation,
All right.
and yeah, it's a whole new insight of everything. But my issue is always the young people.
Yeah.
There's no commitment nowadays. And I don't know. You can actually tell the young couples, because we have no idea what commitment is.
All
And
right.
maybe before you even tell them, I would also be quick to ask, commitment, if you ask me, is virtue. Is it learned? Do we naturally have it? And the fact that we don't have it as much in this generation, what are we saying? Did we grow up seeing it? What exactly is just corrupting that area of commitment?
Yeah, that's a huge question, man. And just on behalf of parents and the generations that have gone before, I would love to apologize to the young people because we have been the wrong picture. We have totally messed up the concepts that that God put down for us to follow. God's design. We've messed it up. And so, yes, commitment is a struggle today for young people. I have two daughters, 20 and 16.
Wow.
I hope I got that right.
You're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, and one of the things we're really praying for and to see coming out of them is commitment. Is commitment learned? I think our biggest challenge today, Frida, is we are into an instant coffee generation, microwave generation.
Yes.
Yeah, results. If I don't see results, I can't see where this thing is going, and that's where the problem starts.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to make a commitment of per se, but this ball better be rolling. And sometimes it just doesn't roll that fast. So for young couples, I would suggest this.
Yes.
You find yourselves a jar or a blue band container, something. Put some cotton wool in there. Yeah? And get a maize seed and a bean seed. And assume this is your flower and plant them in that cotton wool.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
And make sure you eat from those two plants. By the time you finish that, you'll have learned what commitment is.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes only 3 months, by the way.
Just 3 months.
Just 3 months.
And enough
Wow.
relationships don't last that long.
Yeah.
Commitment. Commitment. I hear you, Mr. Andrew. And actually, in essence, that example you've given, you're actually saying commitment is primarily, actually, commitment gives room for things to grow.
Yes.
You don't get to hook up with your lady, maybe, and then go to the altar because they're all perfect.
No.
We are willing to make it grow as you strive towards that perfection.
So you make the covenant till death do us part, knowing fully well
Yes.
this is not perfect,
Mm.
and allow God to help both of you grow through your relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. When I started out,
Mhm.
I was the most selfish man you could ever have met. If I went back now and met myself, I wouldn't have liked me.
You wouldn't even have you for a friend.
No, I wouldn't even have had me for a friend. Yeah?
Wow.
My goodness.
It was all about me.
Ah.
It was all about me. But there are things that go on in that relationship.
Yes.
You know, seeing my wife laboring to have a child,
Ah.
holding a child for the very first time,
Mhm.
seeing things crumbling around you and trying to figure out how do I put them back together.
Mm.
And even at the worst moments, seeing your wife making her commitment not to leave, even in your deepest, darkest, dirtiest moments,
Yeah.
something changes. But it takes time. And there's another important aspect about that,
Okay.
is that relationships go through ups and downs, and there is pain to be experienced in some times,
All right.
in some seasons. And it's part of life. There's no life that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
There has to be struggle and pain and difficulty. That's where commitment is birthed. When you say, well, this is the hand that the seasons have dealt us, and we are going to get through this. We are going to work our way through this. Yeah, we might not always agree,
Yes.
but we are going to work through this together.
We.
It changes everything. It changes everything. Yeah.
Oh my. All right. And trust me, I just believe that this should be a whole discussion by itself, just addressing just the very concept of marriage, especially in the 21st century. Very strange. We, when it comes to, let me give you what we hear in a world. Let alone marriage. Even the very concept of love by itself is totally skewed. We have a renowned singer, a renowned artist would go to the studio and get to say, love is wicked. All right? And these are the people who are actually shaping lifestyles.
Yeah,
These are people who are
that's true.
shaping. You go out and say, love is wicked. You have another musician also go and sing many songs. And this is actually now away from church. But this is what people are actually listening to. This is one who's done R&B for many years. He's almost in his sixth marriage today. And he's been singing about love.
Yes.
Then
And we believe him.
and we believe him. So you're getting
And we
how
use the
things are
lyrics
skewed.
to entice.
Exactly. But now let me just ask you, just related to our topic, strong and silent. When it comes to strength, and we had quite a banter conversation right here with our listeners, and they were asking this, or rather I was asking this, when they tell us that ati ni sisi tuna kazinga maisha, like we're the ones who put this pressure on ourselves. We were trying to understand, number one, who puts this pressure on men? For example, and say men should not cry. Who says that? Is it the society or it's men? Is it a conversation between men or it's our ladies who?
Well, it's one of those chicken egg problems. Here we all admire, expect.
Yes.
We want to develop strong men. You want a man who can stand guard, who can stand firm.
Yes.
And much of our life, our identity, everything is surrounded by men. And what happens is we want to train the man to be strong. And crying doesn't look strong. So from when that boy, poor little thing is 3 years old, he's being told men don't cry. Men don't cry.
Okay.
Men don't cry. It sounds like a very small thing. I mean, I was told men don't cry.
I also had it.
Yeah, you also had it,
I
right?
did.
Yeah, I mean, that's standard. Men don't cry. But it has such a huge ripple effect
I know.
because it means I don't cry, I don't show weakness, I don't show my emotions, I don't show any kind of vulnerability at all. And here comes in the silent man. Yeah? No matter what he's going through, in his mind, he's not supposed to cry. He must just hang in there and show he's strong, and yet he's breaking
And bleeding.
and bleeding. Now, generally, for the rest of the world, that doesn't matter. But when it comes to that relationship with your helper, you're not only messing yourself up, you're also crushing her spirit. Because she can see there's a problem here.
Yes.
This guy needs help. That's what she's created to do. But you're quiet.
Uh-huh.
And this relationship is just knocking heads. It's not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
Mm.
It feels, I would imagine, I don't know, maybe Frida can tell us, it feels like a rejection.
It does.
It does.
You're not telling me what's happening. You're not telling me how you're hurting. You're not allowing me to help you. You don't want me.
Mm. I hear you.
Yeah,
Actually,
that
Frida,
is the conclusion actually we always make. Like, you do not want to involve me. So we end up making so much conclusions. Like, what have I done? What has been happening?
Mhm.
Okay, then that means you do not want me. I'm being rejected.
Ah.
So, adios, I'm out.
And while you feel you're being rejected as the significant woman, does it ever strike your mind, for example, that he's probably not telling me, but he's telling someone else?
Yes, that is what we think.
I wish we had that someone else. An actual person.
No, this is a thing. I by the way, guys, I relate to this. I'm not just talking theory.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been in a place where I know auctioneers are coming tomorrow. I've been in a place where my business has failed and I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking, if I go home and tell my wife, hey, kimeumana, yeah, she's going to break down and collapse.
Yeah.
My instinct is to protect her by not telling her.
Ah. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm.
It's a noble approach.
Yes.
But I want to say two things in that regard. The first is this, that your spouse, your wife, your girlfriend, your partner is your helper.
Yes.
God, we all want to imagine, I looked for a nice girl, and 23 years. No. That's a God thing.
Uh-huh.
And the partner he has given you
Yes.
is able
Mm-hmm.
to work with you, to help you, to fill in the gaps, to even add to your strength. You'll be surprised they might be the ones who give you the solutions. So let's try, as men,
Yes.
to be as vulnerable as we can to at least our spouses. It's
least our
okay,
spouses.
cry. She will be impressed, by the way. Anyway,
That is true. That is so true.
Because initially, actually, Dolly Frida and just other ladies were saying that no, I was actually asking, it's okay we're being told to be vulnerable, all right? Who should we, and what is the extent? It's true I should go probably sometimes allow myself cry. To a man, the key word there is not sometimes cry. The key word is ni kwa nani? To who exactly is there to really receive me in my moments of vulnerability? Should it be my fellow man, or should it be our female? Is it actually a standard, or any can do?
I think we fear as men that our female counterpart is going to expose our. I think that's the
I
fear.
actually said it.
Yeah?
I said the same.
You had said the same.
Yes, I said the same.
But your wife is on your side. Honestly.
Oh.
So I have learned over 23 years
That's quite
to share with her
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
But I will say there are some points that I'm like, you're siwezi mwambia.
Uh-huh.
And this brings it to another aspect. There's something I call the strength of men.
Okay.
I have been part of a program that Pastor Simon Bevy has
Alright.
been running over quite a number of years, called the Man Enough program.
Yes.
And it is really a deep look into manhood and masculinity and understanding who you are as a man and how to live with impact.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, I remember in one of the very first cycles.
Okay.
You know, as a repeat student, I had to do it many times. Anyway, in one of those cycles, not an exam, it's just, you know how you go and you don't get it, you're like, try it again.
Okay.
In one of those, I was sitting with a group of guys, and one of the guys started talking about his life and what he's experienced. And I literally felt as if he was talking about me.
Oh.
I was so shocked, and I actually blurted it out. I said, "Hey, you sound like you're talking to me. I mean about me. You're telling my story."
Yeah.
And another guy said the same thing, and another guy said the same thing, and even eventually we were like 5 people who had the same kind of story.
Wow.
And you know what? We found strength. Right there, we found strength.
Amongst
Because
men.
yeah, so we are all in the same place. So what do we do? What do we do? Why don't we try? What if? And so forth. And you find strength. So there's a place for the strength of men. The problem with men today, we meet, we watch ball, we talk about Chelsea and Arsenal and Man U, and we never really say, I don't know how to deal with this.
Oh.
And another man, even if he says, me too, right there, you will find strength. Oh, so I'm not alone. Keep going, right?
Yeah.
Keep going, keep trying.
Wow.
It's called the strength of men.
The strength of man.
And it comes from men being together. It comes from men having the ability to speak authentically to one another.
And that is also very rare amongst us men.
It's rare, but it is like it's like a balloon. I don't know how to say. It's just waiting. Men are waiting. I serve in a men's ministry, and I've seen this. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for the first guy to start, and they're in, and it picks up momentum.
Yes.
And this is where I think we need to head as men.
I hear you.
To
Mr.
stop
Andrew.
the
And I-
silence.
To
And
stop
talk.
the silence, break the silence,
Yeah.
break the silence, talk to one another. You don't have to shout it out in public.
Yeah.
Do it 3, 4, 5 guys. It will take you miles in life.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And someone here actually is Irene. Irene Monzia, I see you. And yes, your song, Nishaipata, it's already scheduled. I'll get to play it. She's actually saying that she tends to disagree with us. And especially on the bit where we say, it's better you tell me than finding out myself. It will be more painful compared to you telling me. Hen and the egg.
Well, she's saying, tell me the issue.
Yes.
And that is, I would agree with her. Tell her, and I pray one day I will be man enough to tell my wife everything. But let me just use a simple example. I find myself in a situation that becomes compromising with another lady. I know this is wrong.
Yes.
This temptation going on. I'm questioning myself on what should I do. I am not going to go home and tell my wife, hey, there's this hot stick over there. No, at least not now. Maybe after that 20 years of marriage it will work. But you see, if I come and I tell Captain Cargo, hey, I have a problem here, we can work on that problem. So, and I believe, Frida, that is vice versa.
Yes.
That also works the other way
Yeah.
around. So you see, it's just saying there has to be an element of trust. There has to be an element of trust. But you know your partner. You know their heart.
Yes.
And if you have walked a distance and you're talking to each other openly, authentically, but you feel that something is not telling you, give him a bit of time.
And you know, maybe I also hear you saying that in the area of trust, we're saying walk close enough to them to just know how much they can also be able to handle.
Yes.
Sometimes Okay, and I know that's another whole conversation, and maybe Frida can also help us. Do you think sometimes in using that particular template of saying, I knew you could not handle it at that time, do you think we undermine you?
You do actually, because I always believe
All right.
we will crash at that moment. But then after the emotions are out, after we've cried, after the drama, we find a solution afterwards. We'll sit down, come up with a solution.
Yeah.
But before that process, it is a whole drama.
And a man's instinct is to protect you from that. In his whatever twisted way you want to see it.
But
It's
then,
just,
can
know,
you imagine when we
I
find
don't
out
want
by
her to go
ourselves? It's hurtful, very hurtful.
There's a difference between working through something and sweeping something under the carpet.
And we hate that.
You sweep under the carpet,
Yeah.
that one is a time bomb.
Yes.
It's going to explode and it will be bad.
Yes.
But if you are recognized as a problem and you're working on it, even if you find out, and I say, yeah, actually this was a problem. I was demoted at work because of this and this, but I have done this and this, and we are back on track.
Our
It's
instinct
still
is
anger,
always,
but
no, you should have told me. I'm here for you, my partner. I should know these things when they happen.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I just think the line is very.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
it
very
actually
thin.
is very thin because now when we also talk about now the ladies as well, and not being biased also, but part of also what is very intrinsic for you is just the need to know.
Yeah.
The need to know.
And to be there for you, for
No.
these people.
Not even just just the need to know
The need to know.
many things in life. All right. So sometimes you also want to know what you don't have the capacity to handle at that time.
What do
And
you
I
mean
actually
the
like
capacity?
what I think what he said, him saying that our natural instinct as men is to want to protect you from that crashing.
But we are very capable.
Hey.
We are. You just think we're very weak when it comes to some things.
That is what you feel. You feel that
Yes.
we're actually thinking you.
Yeah.
All right.
We feel it's not that you're weak. It's not that you're helpless. It's that I have failed you.
Okay. Okay.
I have failed you, and that robs me of everything masculine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
How do I stand before you a failure? It's a very warped thing. You,
Oh my.
you know how a man feeds on his partner's. I don't want to use the word approval. Affirmation.
Affirmation.
Okay.
Affirmation. Affirmation is big to a man. You know, if you want to have a beautiful, beautiful relationship, affirm your man. Tell him, thank you for being kind. You know, I like the way you dress. Yeah, that guy, I'm telling you, he'll become sharper and sharper and sharper in the way he dresses. Just because you say it, you know.
They call it nowadays massaging your
Massaging
ego.
his ego, right?
Ah.
But not falsely.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
falsely. Nicely, in an authentic way. But he's feeding off that to some extent. And so to imagine that I am busting your bubble, that will make him do the wildest things. And there's something wrong with that. I agree, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
The best thing is just to have an authentic relationship where we talk about our issues. But I don't know if that can happen quickly. It has to go back to the whole issue of commitment and growing in your relationship. It took my wife and I 12 good years
Wow.
to find stability in our marriage.
Wow.
We went even through a separation. We've gone through things,
Wow.
but it took time for us to grow that relationship and that understanding with each other. And even now, there's some good days, there are some bad days. So it's a
It's a whole
process.
process.
That's why it's called a relationship.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
There'll never be a time ati tumefika.
Ah,
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Wow.
quite
But
simple.
do you
am I
expect-
making this more difficult for you?
No.
It's more interesting actually.
It is more interesting because, I mean, when you especially get to hear it from a man, this is what we never talk about. This is what we, in just that facade of wanting to, looking strong, these are some of the things that we actually end up hiding. It's just a whole facade.
It is a facade. And I always go back to the Lord Jesus Christ. If you want to see a strong man, that was a strong man.
Okay.
Yet he humbled himself to the lowest of the lowest. And I think that's a formula for us as men. As I learn to humble myself before my wife, yeah, I will become more authentic to myself, number one, but also to our relationship. And she will see me stronger. She sees me stronger today for being able to admit to my mistakes. Whereas before, a mistake like losing a couple of million, you might not want to tell her because you don't want to make things look bad. But the truth is, I should have at that time. But I didn't know that then. At that time, I thought I was. But over time, hey, better even call even before I reach home and say,
Kulifanyika.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if I'm hearing you right, even as we just take this short break, you're saying there are things, part of being a man, it's a class you learn, it's a class you attend in the course of life. We don't come with a full manual.
very nicely put.
Yes.
Very nicely put. Manhood and masculinity
Yeah.
are learned through the course of life. But life, and I wish life was more deliberate in helping men recognize themselves. And having said that, I strongly believe that there's a similar journey that ladies need to walk. Story for another day.
Okay. and of course, child of God, even as you listen in, it's only that we're talking about men today, but I'm intending this to just be a very intentional series where we just cover as many angles about just being a man, and then also now we'll start with women, right? Because I'm also sure there's a part of the world we need to understand. There's also a part of that process that you're saying they also need to walk through. It's exactly not always modeled for them, and the things they need to learn and prepare for in the course of time.
Yes.
We take a short break. We'll be having a beautiful song, just even as my guest just takes a breather. But also, when we come back, I'll also be wanting you to just get to talk to now, because this conversation is not just two men, it is also two ladies who belong to a certain man. They're probably married to a certain man, or they're raising a man. And I want us to talk about the men who, when the need to be strong came and they could not act the part, they ran. And we know how to run,
Yes, we do.
just to cover our face. We don't know how, as you're saying, the reason why I'll not be able to tell her that particular time is not because, and I loved your wording, is not because she cannot take it, but because I cannot handle myself giving you that, just appearing in that kind of shame package.
Absolutely. It's about shame.
It's about shame, about being a failure.
Yes.
We'll just take a short break, child of God, and then we'll be back. We want to talk about them who've lived with men who ran away. And sometimes we've lived probably judging them too harshly. But there's probably a measure of strength they needed to step up to. They didn't have the right men around them for support system. or just even at home we didn't exactly perceive it, and they ran. How do we raise men who will at least talk and not run away? Keep it right here. Look Up Radio, Drive 254, with yours truly, Captain Cargo and Dolly Frida. And in just a few, we'll be back. We'll just take a short breather. Keep sharing the link. Start a watch party. Get to share it on your WhatsApp status. Let somebody be part of this conversation, even on this last half. All right, we'll be right back. Meanwhile, a song by Irene Monzia. She's also been part of a conversation tonight. The song is Mifupa Mikavu. God bless you. We'll be back in just a few.
Look Up Radio, now playing your all-time hits.
All right, and we are back. That's an amazing tune. God bless you, Irene Monzia. She's actually listening in, and I didn't know that you actually have a song. Thank you. Amazing work right there. Mifupa Mikavu. God bless you. And if you're just joining in, welcome yet again. We're having a very heavy conversation, heart to heart conversation between men, amongst men, and of course my co-host right here, Frida, Dolly Frida. And I'm seeing a couple of men finally getting to split their heads out. Mr. Dennis Shira saying, I concur with what Andrew Kariuki is saying. Ahu.
Ahu, Dennis. Nice to hear from you.
I'm certain you know him.
Yeah, Dennis is an amazing leader. And it's been an awesome journey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm also seeing Mr. John Mwangi gets to join us every time from Gong, saying, very interesting. And I'm following.
Ooh.
Okay. If you are finally here, I mean, welcome. This is Look Up Radio Drive 254, and this is Captain Cargo. I'm just very authentic about having conversations that matter to eternity. And on set today, I have Mr. Andrew Kariuki, very intentional, a leader in our land, just working with enough men. And it's not just a journey you're taking them out of notes you read, but out of a journey you've lived yourself. And I mean, he's just shared lots of wisdom, personal encounters about himself, and drawing from scripture. What is the final standard? Because as men, sometimes we fall.
Absolutely. Lots of times. More than we'd like. And we've just got to learn to bounce back through the journey, because a journey is a journey. I turned 50 this year.
Okay.
And
congratulations.
Asante. Half century.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll see the other century like you said before, but at least the seasons of a man change as time goes.
Okay.
And it's just been an interesting time. Where I am right now, I stopped looking towards what I can do to start looking at what I have done.
Oh.
And what remains to be done, in a sense.
Yes.
And that's just an interesting place to be. Gives you a good perspective.
Gives an interesting perspective.
Very interesting perspective. Yeah.
Okay. And that is the very reason, just beyond what you do on a daily, that is more reason why we can trust your perspective of life tonight. Because you speak to us as a father, to some as a brother. And thank you.
Asante.
So before we actually took the break, I had just got to open another
Pandora's box.
Another just can of worms we just don't like talking about. But the truth is, some families, some of our listeners, some of the families we know have grown with absentee fathers. And just in the short break, I was telling you of a movie I very recently watched. And I'm the kind that doesn't always watch movies, but I watched a movie for days.
Yeah.
And so one of those, I got to watch this in particular. I even can't remember the name, but this was it. There was a father who, in the course of time, realized that he had a certain chronic disease, cancer to be precise, right? Well, exactly. I mean, truthfully speaking, cancer is not. And I was just hosting a certain guest there last Thursday, and we got to talk, and she said she lost her arm, but she's punched cancer down twice. But ideally, in his mind, he felt like it was a dead statement. It was just a dead sentence. So what happened is, she got to say, you know what? I will not be there in my children's life. I will not be actively involved in my family's life. So he was always coming and leaving, coming and leaving. And what he was trying to do is he tried so hard never to create a connection because, in his words, he thought his days were numbered. And so ultimately, he's done the hit and run thing. The boys grow up and they've never seen daddy. They've never had, daddy is there, but he's also not there. And then he ultimately can't take it anymore. And he thinks his time to die is almost near. So he finally runs physically. This time round, does not give them the coordinates of where he's going, and he goes forever, goes to live almost somewhere in a bush, then sends his best friend, go take care of my family. Later on, they get to, just in the course of time, because they're hungry, they're thinking, were we this bad? He's the only one with the version of the truth. And ultimately, when they catch up with him, they ask him, Daddy, why were you always on the run? This time around, they even have evidence of why he ran away. They knew he was sick. And then the son asked him a question I can never forget. He asked him, Daddy, in my whole life, you were not there. You lived running. You were always on the run. But do you realize this time round, you are on the run? On a road with no return? Let's talk to the dads. Let's talk to the men, whoever running, just because they can't face the shame, the moments of weakness.
Yeah. There are so many factors that contribute to our skittish feet, if we can call it, and why men run. First, that I think is just the fact that that has been a model. Okay?
Yes.
There's an aspect of my life that is hard to talk about on radio because it's not very cool.
Yeah.
But it was part of my life, and I realized that it was part of my father's life, and it was part of my grandfather's life, and part of my great-grandfather. It's a generation. It's through generations.
Wow.
That we see, and various aspects of masculinity are modeled that become very hard to deal with. But having said that, we are driven as men by some very core things. Actually, as all human beings, we are driven, let me call it by, sorry,
It's okay.
that was me. Apologies.
It is okay. They're seeing you, so.
I apologize. We all humans want a sense of security, a sense of significance, and a sense of acceptance. These are the three things that are core to every human being. I want to be accepted just as I am. I want to feel significant because I'm here.
Yeah.
And I want to be secure in my place. And when any of those aspects are challenged, it makes us feel less than. Okay, so shall I turn that into an example?
Okay.
When I was a young man.
We see you from 50.
With my red sports car. Little thin tire. I don't know what they were called. You know, funky dude. It made me very acceptable to my social circles.
Yeah.
And, you know, guys could see the car coming from very far.
Come on now.
Yeah. When I lost my job and the car disappeared and everything, yeah, it was difficult to rock up. Yeah, it was difficult to show up. I mean, something about me has gone.
Yeah.
And so you change your circles.
Okay.
Is that running? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
It's running.
Yes.
It's running because your core identity has been challenged. And this is what happens to a lot of men today.
Okay.
Your identity is being challenged in your situation. And I think that's a really big deal today. Are you
okay? Okay.
okay? Yeah, I'm trying to make these things real.
Yeah.
I went into business.
Okay.
1998, something like that.
Hey.
Did pretty well.
All right.
Things weren't really good.
All right.
It was beautiful for a while. My lifestyle was wild, extremely wild, licentious. You would not like it. And over time, the business began to crash, and I fought tooth and nail for that thing
Keep it afloat.
to keep it afloat. And that dragged on for a few years. But at some point, things were bad, kabisa, and just had to say, stop.
Wow.
You're digging a hole, it's getting deep, stop. Yeah? Otherwise you'll never get out. And so that's what I had to do, and close it, give up, let things go.
Okay.
That meant there was no income, there was no school fees, there was nothing for my family, and I was largely the sole breadwinner at the time. So we had to make a decision. What are we going to do? We are living already a lifestyle that we could not afford. And now there's no income. So we have to make drastic changes. And I needed help. And I didn't know anywhere else to go. I had to ask my father for help.
Your own dad?
My own dad,
Okay.
for help.
All right.
And he willingly agreed to allow me and my family to move into his house back home where I grew up as a boy.
It was that bad?
It was that bad.
Oh.
Okay. You're bankrupt.
Yes.
Is that a nice way of putting it?
Okay.
That night, when we moved into that house,
Yes.
and I was lying in the bed looking up at the ceiling where I grew up, it crushed me as a man.
Yes.
It robbed me of everything. If I had just, a little money, I would probably have run.
Oh.
But I didn't have any. I had to stay there. So, I'm just trying to. Everything about me went with that because I didn't know who I was.
Yes.
I was qualified by what I bring, what I do, my success, and those kind of things.
Yes.
And those are fleeting and temporary.
Yeah.
When they go, they'll go. And they'll come again, and they'll go again, and they'll come again and go again. So it shouldn't be a big deal, but it is to a lot of us because we don't know who we are,
Yes.
and so we run.
I hear you.
So I've talked about generational modeling and failure. Let's just call it failure.
Yeah.
Sense of failure. No, lack of identity.
Lack of
think
identity
like-
is better.
Lack of identity is better.
Okay.
But thirdly, the third one is
And actually, just right there at lack of identity, you're saying it's lack of identity because we've tied our identity to the wrong parameters. So when they crumble, we also crumble with them,
we also crumble with them
and we run.
and we run.
Okay.
The last one, I don't really know how to phrase it, but I would call it a false sense of love.
Oh,
False sense of love.
false sense of love.
Yeah, you. I mean, as a guy, we generally think we are all that.
Yeah.
But we are not. And we kind of have this, the story you're talking about, protecting your family from your pain and your suffering and your struggle.
Yes.
We do that a lot as men. That one we do big time. And it's what we were talking about before, hiding things to keep the picture, thinking that we are protecting,
Yeah.
that we are saving.
Mhm.
But when we expose the rougher sides of life to our people, our children, our spouses, and so forth, we can help them grow through difficult circumstances. They will not have to go through the same thing that we are going through, but we keep doing it the other way around. So let me hide it from
And that's
them,
why you think it's cyclic. It's from one generation to the
and
next.
therefore it will become cyclic.
Okay.
You look at family lines, most all times you'll see what happened, especially with the men. I don't know about the women, actually. I've never really examined the women. But with the men,
All right.
what happened in the father's life is almost going to play out in a second. Actually, look at Abraham. He lied about his wife twice. And what did his son do?
Popo hopo.
Papa happened. He lied.
Because the son will look
I
like the dad. You want to
I
emulate
have a
everything.
long story for that one, which we are not going to discuss now. There's a little teaching I've done called Progenitor that talks about fatherhood and father cycles.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have you on a different set to just
that will do
handle that
another
properly.
time. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Do you tend to pass what you've learned to your son indirectly?
That's the word, indirectly. As a man, and this is not true of ladies, but as a man, whether you like it or not, somebody is watching and following you.
Yeah.
And it could be a son or it could be a daughter.
Yeah.
So a son is going to, dad is always a hero. He will want to be like his dad. Sometimes dad is the worst person in his life, and he'll want to be the opposite
Yeah.
of what he saw.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that becomes still an effect of the father. And daughters the same.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Most of the times you want to marry your dad.
That's true.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, the man's role in society is just that significant. He's a trendsetter. Whether it's what I talked about at the beginning, primogeniture, I don't know. But that's the way we orient ourselves. I don't know what you think about that.
I think I agree. But then at times, you see, when a son says the dad is this way, you will want to be the complete opposite of it. But at some point in life, when you're dealing with issues, you will go back to what your dad was and think, my dad did this, I will do the same thing. And it's that madness at that moment.
It's not a madness. It's an instinct, okay?
It's an instinct.
As I live here today and I go home and I will want a cup of tea, and I'm going to put water, turn on the heat, and then add majani kidogo,
Yeah.
let it boil. It has to boil, it has to cook. Then add about the
Milk.
same amount of milk
Yes.
to get my cup of tea.
Mm.
And I'm sure there are many people that are thinking, that's a strange way of making a cup of tea. But that's instinct for me because I've seen it over and over and over and over again. It's the same thing with my father. I have seen the way he deals with things and perceive them a certain way. And that becomes my instinct. Yeah. So when he, my dad is a really awesome guy. Let me tell you that.
And we salute him.
I celebrate him in so many ways. That doesn't mean he didn't make his mistakes, but I celebrate him in many ways. Now, him, in the place of racism, he reacts spontaneously and immediately.
Hakuna kuficha.
No, hakuna kuficha.
Okay.
Cannot tolerate. Yeah. And for a long time, I realized that I cannot tolerate. Yeah. And so, we tend to become our progenitor. Progenitor means our source,
Yes.
right? Our source, unless we learn a new identity. All right? I think of it this way, and maybe this is wrong, but this is the way I think of it.
Okay.
A baby is conceived in a mother's womb, grows in a mom's womb, is for 9 months next to mom, is fed by mom, is so close to mom. Hears mom's heartbeat, feels her emotions, everything for 9 months. And yet, it's dad who defines the identity. It's weird, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why? Why does that happen? Baby is born, still for the next few months, they're so close to mom. They're still fed by mom. They're comforted by mom. And dad is just this elusive figure who's always, he's around, but not the same way mom is. And it becomes a thirst. It's a thirst, and I think it mimics our relationship with God.
All right.
That distance. God is there, but God is there and he's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah? And we have that thirst. And Father's job is to point us to God. And once we find our relationship with God and find our identity in God instead of in Father, then we find our stability. But otherwise, that thirst is what draws us to what dad does. And he's the model, he's the pace setter, if this is the way he came in and greeted his daughters and everything,
That becomes
daughter
standard.
expects a husband to express his love the same way.
Wow.
And when he's not, you don't love me. The guy's wondering, his dad never, ever even touched him. He only waved at him. Is there going to be a conflict over here? Yeah?
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, Mr. Andrew. And I mean, just on a point that you'd actually mentioned that I've seen Langat Gideon get to talk about, he's saying, I think false sense of love is infatuation, and it can come at any age. The false sense of love. In a few words, how would you put it again? That third point.
That false sense of love.
Yes. At that point being the reason why men love.
Why men run.
Why men run.
Why men run.
Yes.
I want, as a young boy,
Okay.
I've seen my dad he thrives in the attention and company of women, and it excites me as a young boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to be like that. All right. So in the attention of women, I give out this bravado that I'm a guy. You know, at 11, 12 years old, if I can bring her flowers, I don't know whether that happens in Kenya, but you know, if I can bring her flowers or a chocolate or something, yeah, and she's going to like me. She's going to like me. Yeah. And I'll probably make promises. In fact, I'll tell her next week I'll bring you an even bigger chocolate. Yeah? Then next week I can't get that bigger chocolate. Maybe dad refused. Maybe I didn't have the money. Something happens. I can't go. That day I don't have the chocolate. I'll even be sick. I won't go to school. What's happening?
You're running.
I'm running.
Yeah.
I'm running. Yeah. I don't want to be seen to have failed. I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting this relationship. I want to preserve it. It's twisted and it's wrong.
I now get it.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
You
I mean,
are.
there's reality in that, but
Yeah.
You are.
Because you do not want to go there and face that girl and
Face
say, I
that
failed.
girl, yeah.
I did not bring what I promised.
Yeah.
Wow. Profound. I think I'd not gotten it that way the first time. And that's massive. So do you agree with him when he says that it can come at any age?
I think it's a journey. For you to get to okay, let's go with this one. 31, 32 years old, 33 years old. We have a 4-year-old baby.
Right.
My wife and I, or 3-year-old baby, I don't know which. And I'm just not getting what I need at home. This is my thinking. I want my wife to make me happy. And it's not happening.
All right.
Why? That's a story for another day. She can't make you happy.
Yeah.
She can't make you happy. Happiness is your choice. But in my own mind, she's supposed to make me happy. That's how I've seen it in the movies and all these things. She's supposed to make me happy. And she's not making me happy. And we're trying to discuss this thing and it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not getting whatever. So what do? I run. I look for other ways
Right.
to find happiness, whether it's in a girlfriend, whether it's in...
Anything else?
And eventually, as the pressure comes, I run. I run away from this situation where I should be resolving, and I run into the arms of another woman. So we ended up being separated for some time and come back.
Yeah.
But there are many nuances and things behind all of this. But I'm just trying to say, as men, I think a lot of times there's a false sense of protecting or preserving things by running instead of dealing with them head on. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are.
That sounds a bit confusing.
You are. And I know especially how heavy this conversation is, because with every question almost comes like a part of your life illuminated. A part of your life illuminated. But trust me, you're making perfect sense. And you've actually just raised an interesting angle that maybe would make a fourth point to why men run. Alright? And I normally put it this way. There's a kid in every king. Alright? Or let me just start from the reverse. There's a king in every kid. You remember David? Samuel only sees a kid. God is seeing a king in the same kid. So there's a king in every kid. But now later on in life, every king has a kid in him. So there's a king in every kid and a kid in every king. Now, sounds so good for the poetry of it. But now this is what it means. When we talk about the king in the kid, that is important for a parent to be able, that is very powerful in the context of especially parents who keep on calling their children when they're young all sorts of names. And you're numbing and just suffocating the king in them, the greatness, the expression of greatness, the expression of them just rising to be someone. You're actually killing it at its nipping stage, all right, just at its budding stage. Then later on, when you now have the king, now this is a fully grown man, a man of status. And when I actually talk about man, child of God, I'm talking about both the lady and the man. But in this case, the man. So later on, he's a man of status. He's grown to be maybe just something in society. And while everyone approaches them as this one thing, you're probably the president. You're probably the dad of this home. A man in his kingly throne, this is his place of power. This is where he dispenses gifts. This is where he dispenses, actually shows the flamboyance of, all that he is able to possess. So for a father, for example, him as the king version of a man, and then now he has a family, is now him at the point whereby everyone is coming in the family and saying, Dad, nilipie fees. Dad, ni Christmas, ninunue nguo mpya. Dad, nifanye hivi na hivi. And as you said, one of our natural instincts is to want to protect and also to provide. So while we will do it, if that is the only bit they appreciate about us, if they only see the king and miss out on the kid, when the same man goes out there, maybe in a pub or in a hotel, and just met a waitress who said, Sir, hope you're having a good day. And that is a kind of question nobody ever asks you at home. If someone out there just asked you, Sir, your sock is torn, the person who gets to entertain the kid in you, though now it's way later in life, the one who accesses the kid in the king has the king for real.
Yes. Yes and no. I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
And I think that actually happens often. But life is a journey.
Life is a journey.
And what the kid wants is to be loved. But you see, the real love you're looking for is the ability to love. First Corinthians chapter 13.
Yes.
Paul talks about if I'm this and that without love, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. And that shows about how love becomes a motivation for life. And then he talks about what love is. But after that, he talks about the wisdom that comes with love. And there's a very interesting thing about that. Suddenly in that discourse over there, he just changes direction and starts talking about growing up.
Okay.
Okay, which makes sense when you look at it in that context. Let me just say what he says.
1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13, I'm reading from verses 8 going down to 12.
All right.
Okay, let me read that. It says, love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection in the mirror. Then, for now what we see, only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. I don't know if I can explain this. our innate base human nature is to want, is selfish.
Yeah.
But love is selfless.
Hmm.
Okay? Love is outward, is an outward working action.
Hmm.
As you grow up and learn to truly love, your need diminishes
Ah.
or your need changes to become the giving. So at some point in my life, I wanted my wife to make me happy and to feel loved and to say lovely things about me and to hold me and just love me, right?
Be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But over time and growing up and becoming an adult, oops, yeah, I have learned
Yeah.
I get more joy and happiness loving her.
Ah.
When she's happy, when she's fulfilled, when she's not struggling, and I can be part of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get the twist.
it gives me rest, it gives me peace, it gives me joy, it fulfills me.
Wow.
And my child is somewhere. Yeah, very far away. The kid in me is very far away. And I think that's what Paul was trying to get to. And so we, unfortunately, because we are told we can't cry as boys, our ability to deal emotionally and psychologically in a healthy way with the things going on around us does challenge our ability to grow into that space of love. It doesn't stop us, it just challenges us.
All right.
And so it might take a little bit longer. I think ladies also, when you have a baby, that magic happens.
Yeah.
And by the way, for a father, it's an amazing thing, to hold your child for the first time. You're like, wow, this is a miracle, but it cannot compare to a mom. So I think a mom grows in love much faster
Than we do.
as she understands giving everything
Yeah.
for the child.
Yeah.
That's true.
My wife puts it a certain way. She says, after you've had a baby, there's nothing you haven't seen.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And, life doesn't do her.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Wow.
But for us, it takes us a bit longer to get to that place when you say, hey, when I was a child, I talked like a child. But now, I am an adult and I put childish things away. Would I like my wife to hold me and, do all those lovely things? Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Is it a deal breaker? No,
I hear you.
it's not a deal breaker.
Wow. Wow. My goodness. And I think we can actually just be here all night just getting to talk about this subject. Yet somehow we just have to wrap it up. It's already 1 minute to 7:30.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And that has been not just candid, it's been very personal, very refreshing, and very insightful. And I actually, personally, and of course, Dolly Fried will also be saying what her main take home is as well.
Yeah.
That last explanation on the kid and the king just gave me a very different insight on the same thing. That yes, it's needful for the kid to be loved, but it's no longer a deal breaker. It does not mean he's suffocated and does not exist. No. But the fuller version of love becomes that impression for you to actually express love. That being in a standpoint whereby I have one more person to show love, it delights me.
Yes.
One more person to, it delights me. That was it for me. That was it for me.
Nice.
Oh my. Dolly Frida,
cannot agree any further than that. I mean, you have shown me a whole different. You see, we had this discussion since we got here, and your perspective is a whole new one, and I can't take anything away from that. So let's not add or take away from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Ha! And there we just have it. And my goodness, Mr. Andrew, God bless you. We honestly don't have the right words for you, but thank you.
Karibu sana.
In a very simple
So
way.
It's been a privilege to be here, and to just share from experience and from what the Bible actually says. But I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Because we don't all know it.
Yes.
And this is what my parting shot would be
Mhm.
to you guys. I don't know if you are asking me for something like that, but I'll give you anyway.
Okay. It is definitely coming. All right.
God has granted each one of us different circumstances, times,
Mhm.
and seasons. Some good, some bad. But there is so much to learn about Him
Mhm.
through those circumstances. And when we know Him, we know ourselves.
Mm.
We really, really know ourselves. So when running, not running, showing emotion, or hiding emotion,
Yes.
and all those things, please seek God's face in every one of those circumstances, because it will highlight and illuminate parts of your life, parts of who you are,
Yeah.
your identity in ways that you had never imagined. And the more clear that becomes, the more you find yourself standing on solid rock,
Wow.
that you will be able to be that strong and silent man.
Wow.
Seek God's face.
Wow. Oh. And I totally hear you. I totally hear you. That if, in fact, one of the descriptions of Christ as a man is that he's the fairer. He's actually fairer than 10,000 men. And so if he does not become the standard unto which you look up to, every other standard fails.
Yes.
That has been refreshing. That has been refreshing. I wish you actually knew the very circumstances that led us to having you here tonight. but God bless you. I always have a way of just telling Daddy that, you know what? Eventually, I will have and said who you desired. And this has been very refreshing, and thank you. Thank you. And I'll definitely get to engage you. I'll definitely get to engage you again, especially on what you actually talked about. Yeah, I just felt a certain burden right there when we talked about the progenitor.
Yes.
Yes. We'll have the onset some other time. Okay. And child of God, thank you so much. I mean, lots of people still joining in, and I truly, truly hope that you've been thoroughly refreshed, thoroughly furnished, thoroughly blessed. And if you have a quick question, get to just text it right here. If it's a private question, also send it to me via the number 20374. But yes, we are just bringing this to a close. It's been Moranza who.
Well, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds powerful. What does that mean?
One of the very illustrations of a man is as a moran, as you just said, as a natural instinct to be able to protect, to provide. And so when you say Moranza who, it just goes like ahu. Finally breaking the silence. Okay. Yes. And child of God, it's just been an utmost pleasure having you on board. God bless you. God bless you. We don't take it for granted that every last one of you took some time to just be part of us, and also getting to share the link, starting watch parties. God bless you. Get to like our page up there, look up Radio KE, and press that notification bell. Every other day we are here, Monday to Friday, having very authentic conversation, and tomorrow it gets better. And let me tell you, child of God, you next time, usitegemee tu mwenye ameshare. Come here expressly from 4 p.m. Today we've actually taken some time, but we normally end by 7. It has been, that is all that we actually had tonight. God bless you so much. And as we said, it's a conversation about men to men, but also to ladies who belong to a man, who are married to a man, who know a man, who are raising a man. And I hope you have enough lessons. By the way, just get to comment down there. Tell me what was outstanding for you. What is your major take home as we just wrap it up tonight? Okay. And then we'll also hear a goodbye from my beautiful co-host, Dolly Frida. We received in the family today. And yes, get to tell us goodbye.
Yeah, same time, same place tomorrow.
Same time, same place.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
and more shares tomorrow. You guys, we need those shares. And more comments. Keep on texting, keep on commenting. We still need them. And the conversation continues, I mean. It doesn't end here.
Yes.
So let's meet tomorrow. Good night and God bless.
Amen. Amen. All right. We get to see you tomorrow, and indeed, just same platform, same right here on the digital space on Facebook. Get to like our page. You'll find us live here again from 4 p.m. to the 7. And I tell you, it'll be quite something. Okay, I get to finish this, just to wrap it up with this beautiful piece. Let me see. I actually have a couple of songs, and also, let me get this. A surprise. Songs and something else. Take a listen. Till tomorrow, the Lord bless you, the Lord keep you. But it should also be important for us to also finish it at this. Sir, I would request you to get to pray for us. Pray for the men, pray for the ladies as well. Every last one of us.
All right, let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Lord, what a wonder it is that you created us in your image. And you created us male and female. You created us to be one. And Lord, clearly the times of this world, the history and the cultures that have come out, that have developed over the millennia, have really brought confusion in who we should be. As your children, both male and female. But your word continues to point us towards you, to see who we are in who you are. That is how we will discover our identity and know what is right and know what is wrong, know how to carry ourselves and know how to relate to each other. So Lord, would you allow us to turn our attention to your word and to seek your face, to seek your truth, to seek your very being in that wisdom, in that that truth that has been shared over many, many years. And that as we see you, that we will truly discover who we are as individuals, but have the opportunity and the blessing to share that with our neighbors, to share that with our spouses, to share that with our children, that over time we will see a better world where men and women are truly complementary as you created us to be. And so we bless you and we thank you for illuminating our time today. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen and amen. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Kariuki. Where can our people find you?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Well,
Probably someone who's saying, I'd love to connect to you after this. Or where can they find you? Maybe on the social medias?
I'm poor at social media. I told you I'm 50. But I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I just Andrew Kariuki, the guy who's wearing glasses. You can, I don't know whether, do I give my WhatsApp line? I don't know. That might be a bit wild.
Okay.
Just reach me on Facebook.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
All right. Good.
I used to tweet, but I forgot how. So please just forgive me. Just reach me on Facebook.
Yeah.
It is well. It is well. I wish you would actually remember so that you're able to just treat some of all these things that we've talked about today.
Okay.
But it is well. Forgiven. All right, child of God, we just get to wrap it up. at that. And go find us on our social media platforms, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, on yes, of course, this is Facebook, and every Instagram as Lookup Radio KE, and also on Lookup TV on Signet, free to air on every free to air box. You can be able to find us Lookup TV as well. Just having amazing programming for you. God bless you. Till tomorrow, stay safe, stay friendly, please do. And if you're a man, yes, we have affirmed that indeed we are strong. And strength not comparable, it is strength in relation to the ladies, but we're also created to just be able to be a voice. We cannot be silent. Amen. All right. Shalom and see you tomorrow. I just leave you with this beautiful piece by, I don't want to mention, I want it to be a surprise to you, but take a lesson. And until tomorrow, the Lord bless you and keep you. Amen.
From Nairobi to the world, this is Lookup Radio.